Hello, Daniel here, and welcome back to TFL 3. Today you join me here at Lewes Station, which is a very nice station, I must say. The station cafe is very nice, and I just love the station, but that's not why I'm here today. Why I'm here today is to go visit every station on the Seaford branch line. And this is one of my favourite lines. I highly recommend it, and I get to show you why. So I won't yammer on any longer. I'll be doing plenty of that in this video, so let's just get on the train to the first station, really. The Seaford line in East Sussex branches off from Lewes, calling at Southease, Newhaven Town, Newhaven Harbour, Bishopstone, and finally Seaford itself. This line was first opened to Newhaven by the London, Brighton and South Coast Railway in 1847 and extended to Seaford in 1864. There also used to be a branch to Newhaven Marine station, which is now disused. More information on that later on. The line was third rail electrified by the Southern Railway in 1935, and the section from Newhaven to Seaford was single-tracked in 1975. Today, the Seaford line gets trains to Brighton via Lewes, calling at Falmer, Molescombe and London Road before reaching Brighton. It does not get direct trains to London. This line also has the claim to fame of being the last bastion of the fan favourite Class 313 PEP-derived trains. In fact, we went to ride the very last one as a trio, one of the first things we all did together before we made this channel. We also filmed a 1k subscriber Q&A here a long time ago, and I have a lot of other fond memories of this line, so I'm looking forward to getting to explore it again. Anyway, on with the video. Alrighty, so here we are at the first station on the Seaford branch line, which is Southease. This is one of my personal favourite stations. I mean, most of them are, but on this line, but this is a very nice station. I think it's really slept on. Station tickers here, there's like a 1 minute change, and like, I get it. Like, of course, the station tickets are going to go for the 1 minute change because this station only gets every other train, which means it gets an hourly service. And yeah, I can see why you kind of, when it's an hourly service, you're going to go for that 1 minute change. But honestly, if you have the time, I recommend get out here. Spend some quality time here. And I'm going to go show you why. I reckon we can start with this lovely level crossing. Everyone loves a good level crossing. There is a bridge over the station, which is not an accessible bridge, but there is also a bridge to help you make that 1 minute change if you want. There you go. I'll be back here in an hour. So we are approaching interesting thing number one, which is the Southease swing bridge, which goes over the River Ouse here. And yeah, this is just a very nice bridge. As you can tell from the name, it used to swing. It hasn't swung in a very long time, but I believe either legally or just they've maintained it, it does still have the mechanism, I believe. I don't know if it's like they legally has to, because this is still a protected waterway or something. I don't think it gets any use anymore, because basically everything uses the port of Newhaven, which is just kind of that way. But yeah, there we go. We've got some more information about the maintenance here. As I imagine you've probably gathered from the B-roll by now, I like the station because it's just a really quite rural, quite quiet place to be. It's favoured by walkers, We kind of walk along the River Ouse, along kind of eventually maybe heading towards Lewes. It's just a really nice place, and for me there's a lot of nostalgia attached to this. For instance, I remember, and my shirt will show it, there it is, I remember I used to train spot along here, especially during the last week of the Class 313. There might be some footage on screen if I kind of have access to it, just moving over for a car to pass. This is just a kind of a lovely place. I've got fond memories of it. Going along here on has the 313 farewell, and yeah, I just recommend spend an hour here. It's worth it. It's just a very nice place. And you know, for me personally, nothing embodies the rural feel of Southease better than this thatched cottage and this church. This is just mind-blowing to me. I love this church so much. I'll talk about why in a second, but first let's see if we can go in. Okay, there's a service going on inside at the moment, but I'll just come round the back to show you this, the tower. There are only 3 of these kind of in this area of the country. They're all in Sussex, they're all in this kind of area. And what's mental to me about this church is, as you can see, it's just a very small local church. There has been a church in this spot since, I believe, 977. Over 1,000 years ago, before the Normans, before 1066, before all of that. And that is just mind-blowing to me. Look, there's been a church, it hasn't looked exactly the same. I believe this came in maybe the 1200s, but still, this is just insane. As someone who's born in Australia, and my country's like founded in 1901, this is mental. Like, to have a church that's just been here this whole time, it's just kind of stayed here. It's not a tourist attraction. It's just a church. There's literally a service going on in there. It's just, look, this is what England's about. This is what Britain's about, in my opinion. I'm kind of losing my words here, because this is just one of my favourite places. I like to go in here when it's quiet, and yeah, I just love it. So the service is actually finished, and I've been able to go in, and I can show you the inside. As I said, it's just a standard local church, and this is where I think the charm is. Like, it's just like they just are having a service, which is obviously finished. I'm in here on my own. I'm not just filming in a church with people trying to pray, but yeah, I'll cut to some kind of footage of the inside without my face in the way, and then yeah, absolutely do come visit this church. Pray here if you're a Christian. Highly recommend. There's also this little rope swing outside the church, which I'm not going to go on because I don't have time, unfortunately. But yeah, do come visit the little church in Southease. I can't believe I already have to go. Like, an hour feels like a long time to be waiting at a station, and when you're station ticking, it definitely is, which is why people go for that 1 minute change. But honestly, every time I come here, I spend an hour, and then I wish I had more time. Like, I'm looking forward to some of the other cool stuff I'm going to go to in this video, but I wish I had more time here. Alrighty, so that is it for Southease. Honestly, one of my favourite stations. I really love this place. Highly recommend you spend the hour if you have the time. And honestly, I miss some stuff. There's like a nice cafe the other side of the tracks that I just, again, didn't have time to go to. And yeah, I could have shown you plenty more. But yeah, anyway, on to the next station. Or should I say, stations. So I'm in Newhaven. I've just got off at Newhaven Town. I'm not actually going to Newhaven Harbour just yet because there's something I want to do with that that's kind of cool, but it's a bit naff here, so I'm just going to go like kind of over the river and check out one thing that does seem kind of cool. I've never actually been this way out at the station, so yeah, we'll just go check something out and yeah, we'll go see it. Crossing over another swing bridge over the River Ouse. Not as charming as the one in Southease though. This is a cool statue of a cormorant. It's also got fishes on the wings that I've just noticed. It's funny, there's another one that's in the river. This is probably as close as I have time to get, but up there is a fort, which I thought was kind of cool. Yeah, there might be some history about that on screen, but I don't know it because I couldn't be bothered to research. Right, I need to make it back to Newhaven Town Station so I can get literally there. Huh? So I'm back at Newhaven Town Station. Newhaven's a bit bleak, I'll be honest. And we're about to go somewhere even bleaker because I'm going one stop to Newhaven Harbour. Now you might be wondering, why am I not walking this? Well, I'll show you why. I'll show you why. But like, while I wait for the train to get here, I will talk about that walk because I reckon. Have you seen that like really viral video of the guy running between Mansion House and Cannon Street and like getting off one train and getting on the other? Yeah, incredibly impressive, right? I reckon this is the only place on National Railway you can do that because there's a few others. Trains in the distance. I've got to get on that. But yeah, like I'll talk about some other examples, but I think this is the only place where one could do that because I nearly did it one time. But I'll talk about that in Newhaven Harbour. So I've made it here to Newhaven Harbour, and you might have noticed the train is still on the platform. There's a reason for that. There are 2 trains a day that terminate here at Newhaven Harbour. This is one of them, and I'm about to show you where it goes. Okay, so here at Newhaven Harbour we have an abandoned building, the ferry terminal to France, where the entrance actually has been moved closer to Newhaven Town. So if you want to get the ferry to France, you get off at Newhaven Town, not Newhaven Harbour. And those tracks that you just saw the train go down, that way's branching off towards Seaford, but that is the abandoned Newhaven Marine station. And you may well have seen a video about it. There is now nothing left, so I'm not going to really show you anything. This is kind of as much as I can show you. The tracks are still there as a turnback siding, basically, and they're also sometimes used for freight. Because, yeah, there was this whole thing where the station was still legally open, and they still legally had to run trains to it, but there wasn't even like a platform left, because it had all been condemned, it was all deemed unsafe. But they have now closed it, and yeah. Also, the other claim to fame for Newhaven Harbour is just how close it is to Newhaven Town. Like, it's basically there. I reckon you can run off one train at Newhaven Town and get on it at Harbour. I don't think it works the other way because you have to cross the footbridge both ways. But I think it would work this way. And I think this is the only place where it would work. And I think it would work here because there's a couple of other ones, Birchgrove and T-Glass in Corryton, but the roads around there don't quite align. There's Blackfriars to City Thames Link, but I think the barriers and the length of the train and everything would make it really difficult to do that challenge. But I reckon it's doable here. And I actually tried it once, and if the challenge was to just like touch the train at both stations, I succeeded. I did that. This was before I had the channel, I think. I certainly never filmed it, so you're just gonna have to trust me. But yeah, I touched the train at Newhaven Town, ran to Newhaven Harbour and touched it here. If I'd just been like a tiny bit faster, I would have been able to get on the train. So if you think you're faster than me, then come to Newhaven, try it, film it. I still kind of want to keep this video idea for myself, but I think I'd need like a GoPro and probably a camera person. So I'm reluctantly releasing that idea. And we have some art on the platform to make the station slightly less bleak. We've got kind of an abandoned platform over there. I'll just cut over that because I've waffled for a long time and you're probably sick of my face now. Yeah, that's about it. It's really not a long walk back to Newhaven town. In fact, I'm going to have to do it to get back to the next station on Seaford, because Seaford sometimes has weird calling patterns in the middle of the day where there's a half of the train skip Southease and then another half of trains skip here, Newhaven Harbour. Some of them stop, some of them don't. I don't understand why this station exists, to be honest. Like, obviously Newhaven Marine was very kind of closed case, easy to close. It served nothing. The station was unsafe, and yeah, it was just not good. But this one doesn't really serve anything either, and it doesn't even serve the ferry port. So kind of, I guess it's just probably more hassle than it's worth to close. That's probably the only reason it's even here. Enough of Newhaven. Time to go to our next station, Bishopstone. And I'll be honest, this is one of my favourite stations. I love the station building. It's kind of Charles Holden, reminds you of the western end of the Piccadilly line. And yeah, this is a single platform station because that's an abandoned platform on that side. And yeah, I just really like the station. It's the penultimate station before Seaford. And if I just go up here, I'll show you the outside of the building. And then I've got an abandoned station to visit, which obviously Newhaven Marine, there was nothing left, but this one, there's quite a bit more left. So I think that will be quite cool. We've got some lovely art in here and some kind of community boards, some more art. And look up, oh, that's cool, that's cool. I kind of walk backwards outside, hopefully without walking into anything. We can get a nice look at the exterior. I just kind of pan out. There we go, perfect. Very cool, I must say. I do love this station. But enough dilly-dally, I'll get back to the Bishopstone soon. I'm going to walk to an abandoned station. Alright, we're approaching the level crossing, which is where the abandoned station is. And there is the platform. We can walk up to like here. Here's the abandoned station of Tide Mills. Now, there have been plenty of abandoned stations which simply lost the use case. Simply, they decided it wasn't profitable to run trains there anymore. But I can't say there's many stations which had to close because the place they served ceased to exist. This used to be a town. Where I'm standing, there used to be houses here. In fact, the ruins are still here. This used to be the station master's cottage, right? Kind of backing onto the tracks there. And yeah, if I kind of walk along, you might be able to spot kind of little stone and brick remnants of the village of Tide Mills. Now, it got that name because there used to be a flour mill here. And these houses, like the one I'm about to walk past, housed the workers. This place was not just like some kind of sort of quiet rural community that eventually disappeared like some other small rural hamlets have been. No, this place was evacuated. In 1936, several of the houses were deemed unsafe because of some sanitary things, among other things, so they were all demolished. And then in 1939, the rest of the villages were forcibly evacuated because this area was needed as part of the war effort. This is right on the south coast, and there were real fears that the Germans could have landed here. And they used this area for street fighting practice. And yeah, Newhaven fort's just over there, so kind of this area, this stretch of coast was instrumental for the defence of the UK, and another reason that we didn't fall in World War II. So the sacrifice of these villagers giving up their homes and their livelihoods is part of the reason that we didn't fall, which is again pretty insane. And all this story just from one little abandoned station over there, which is pretty cool. These used to be cottages here at Tide Mills. That's all that's left. And that's all there is to see today. Wow. So this, I believe, is where the mills of Tide Mills actually were. They closed in 1901, but obviously the village kept limping on until the evacuation that I mentioned. And yeah, it is quite interesting how this would have probably just kind of fallen into obscurity if not for the fact that this is basically an abandoned village that you can just walk through. And it's so close to settlements, you know, there's houses over there and there's Bishopstone station over there. In fact, Tide Mill station, the abandoned one I showed you, used to be called Bishopstone Beach Halt. But obviously when Tide Mills had to be evacuated, the station didn't have much purpose either, so they closed that and moved it over that way. They moved it to where it is today because obviously that's where the people were now. So the station followed them, basically, which is a logical decision, but it just kind of even further contributes to the abandoned feel of this area. There's also not many people that come along here. There's a little car park outside, or it's about a 20-minute walk from Bishopstone station if you want to go pay this place a visit, which I do recommend. It's a nice place. Yeah, so all the way over there is Bishopstone station with the footbridge. There's literally a train on the platform. If I just swing the camera over here, there is Tide Mill station. There's even still the station sign, which is left in situ. It's pretty cool. Yeah, anyway, I need to go back to Bishopstone station now so that I can get the train to the final station, which is Seaford. So let's get that done. So I've made it back to Bishopstone, and one thing I've only just noticed is I think this room of the station building is actually a sort of community centre, which is very nice to see. Very nice to see third spaces, which are still free, I think. I don't know, I didn't go in, I've got a train to catch. But yeah, let's get the final train to Seaford. But yeah, this is a lovely station. Alrighty, and we've made it to Seaford. And let's go to the beach, because what else are you meant to do in Seaford besides go to the sea? Hey, voiceover Daniel here, coming with a quick fun fact about Seaford Station. It is quite possibly the only single platform and single track station in the UK to have a platform 2. That is to say, there is no platform 1, there is just the one platform which has been designated platform 2. This is probably a hangover from when the line was singled in 1975, and the platform 1 is gone, so it's just never been renumbered. Anyway, back to present Daniel. And after long last, I have made it to a bench in Seaford. There's some lovely cliffs over there. Eventually you'll make it to kind of Newhaven and Berlin Gap. I'm not doing the walk today because I am too tired. But I'm just going to enjoy the lovely sea view. Sun's out, it's a lovely day. And that's probably about where I'm going to leave this video. So, Seaford is a nice place to go. Just about everywhere on this line is lovely, except Newhaven. Give Newhaven a miss unless you're getting the ferry. But otherwise, everywhere else is nice. And yeah, like, this is kind of a bit of an emotional video for me because, in case you didn't know, I go to uni in Brighton. That's where there have been several videos from Brighton. And I'm graduating. I've literally submitted my last essay yesterday at time of filming. So, yeah, it's kind of crazy. Video hasn't quite set in yet, but that's kind of my life update, as it were. So kind of, I'm moving away from being local to the Seaford line, which I was kind of even before the channel. Like I remember filming with Nick here, like 4 years ago, and the last 313, and I've done kind of so much since then. And thank you guys for all being part of the ride. Unless you're new, but in which case, hello, you're welcome to join at any time. Anyway, that's it from me. I'll stop rambling. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you to all the patrons and YouTube members whose names will be on screen. Maybe here. I might do it here rather than having an end card. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.